guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Chioma Stitches and my name is Chioma. On today's sewing tutorial, we're going to be making this beautiful one-sided butterfly gown with this beautiful 3 yards of crepe fabric. And of course, if you're a tailor, you see a fine design, it's only natural you think about making it yourself instead of going to go and buy it. So I'm trying to recreate this beautiful design that I saw, and if it's something you are interested in, definitely keep watching and don't forget to subscribe. I want to use this opportunity to welcome all the old subscribers. Thank you very much to you guys for sticking around with me all this while, and for the new subscribers who have joined the family, you guys are welcome. It's so good to have you. And if you're meeting this channel for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe, and of course you will definitely like it here. So this fabric I'm working with is a total of 3 yards fabric that I'm using to achieve this. The reason why 3 yards is going to be enough for me is because I'm a 5 feet 2 inches person, so the length is going to be perfect. So if you are going to recreate this and you are taller than 5 feet 3 inches, I would recommend you use more fabric and make it in reverse. Okay, cut it in reverse in a way that you accommodate your length first, you consider your length first before you consider the side allowance. But if your height is within the 5 feet 2 or 5 feet 3 inches, then this measurement I am working with, that's the length, is going to be perfect for you. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to show us how I'm going to cut this fabric to get us what to be able to use it, and this will not be contained on the table. I'm going to cut it on the floor. I will show us how to cut it on the floor, and then I'll bring it back to the table and we'll continue. So this is the complete 3 yards fabric laid on the ground. As you can see, I folded it in half. This is the 3 yards unfold, so you have 1.5 on top, 1.5 underneath. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting it, but I'm going to make one part of it to be 2 inches longer than the other part, so that one is going to be the back piece that is going to help us for the zip allowance. Okay, this end like this, it is together, so I'm going to be moving this one, the one on top, backwards like this and leaving 2 inches, so that 2 inches will be our zip allowance. So that one that is now longer in the width will be the back piece, and I'm going to cut it from this end like this and cut it open. I'm going to be drafting a basic gown block bodice on this paper. Even though it's not up to 57 inches long, that's the length I want. When I'm transferring to fabric, I can always extend it. Working with pattern paper helps you with your alteration, so you can manage your fabric properly. The shoulder measurement I'm working with is 7.5 inches, that is 15 inches divided by 2. Now if you would like yours to show a little bit of more of the shoulder, it is okay to reduce your shoulder measurement from the side, from the part where the sleeve is supposed to fit in. Okay, so I'm coming down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, that's the shoulder slanting, and then I'm going to come down from there to 7.3 inches for my armhole. To get your armhole, you divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5 inches. So I'm marking out the 7.5 here as well, and I'm going to go ahead and connect it. Okay, so after connecting it, I'm going to be using my ruler to create my armhole opening. So I'm going to go up with my tape rule by 3 inches, come in by 1/2 inch. Using my straight ruler, I'm going to be connecting this 1/2 inch to the shoulder slanting, and then I'll use another curved ruler to curve out the armhole. And then for the neckline, I'm marking out a neckline of 3.5 inches for the width. For the back depth, I'm going to use 1 inch and I'll curve it. And then for the front depth, I'm using 4 inches or 5 inches. Now I'm going to be using the same pattern for both the front and the back. Of course, I'll be altering the back a little bit when I am going to transfer it to the fabric. Okay, now I'm going to connect that neckline to the shoulder slope. To impute my horizontal measurement, from my shoulder to my bust is 10 inches, from my shoulder to my underbust is 13.5 inches, and then I'm going to be using 17 inches as a half length, and that is also where we're going to be placing the dart. Then from the shoulder to the hip, I am marking 24.5 inches. I'm going to rule that across. Hip 43 divided by 4 is going to be 10.75 inches. Bust 35 divided by 4 is going to be 8.75 inches. Now I'm going to be marking out the dart, and from the waistline, I'm going to go in by 4 inches. That is my bust point. Okay, nipple to nipple measurement, it's 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. So I'm going to be marking it from 2 inches under the bust to the waist, and then to 4 inches or 4.5 inches below the abdomen. I'm marking out 1.5 inches for the dart. So from the waist, I'm going to go in by 0.75 on both sides and connect it to the underbust and to the lower abdomen. Waist 28 inches divided by 4 is 7 inches. You are going to be adding 1.5 inch for the dart. And then for the underbust, my underbust is 27 inches. That will be 6.75 when you divide it by 4. You're also going to be adding whatever you have as that line here. I'm going to measure it and I have 0.6. I'm going to go ahead and connect all the markings, and then I will add my 1.5 inch sewing allowance directly on the pattern paper so that it will make it easy for me when I am going to be transferring it to fabric. I'm just going to transfer the hip measurement of 10.75 to the down part. I'm going to also add 1/2 inch around the armhole for the armhole allowance, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pattern. Okay guys, so I'm starting with the front piece. Okay, so I've laid down the fabric and I'm using this zipper to hold it so it doesn't slide down the table. And of course the length, as you can see, could not be contained, all of it could not be contained on the table. Now one side of this dress, as like you have seen already, has a normal side inseam sewing, while the other side has a butterfly sewing. So the part that has the butterfly sewing does not need this our sewing allowance. The part I'm cutting out is the part that has the normal inseam sewing. So I'm going to reverse this. That is why I added a sewing allowance, so that it will help guide my curtain. Okay, so I'm going to place this like so, and like I said, the length we need is 57 inches and this fabric is by 60. Okay, so it will be more than enough. So I'm going to be placing this here, leaving 1/2 inch for the shoulder because we're going to be joining the shoulder, and I'm going to pin this. Now I'm cutting this on the wrong side of the fabric, please note that. I'm going to be ruling the center to indicate where it is so that when I'm cutting out the neckline for the front, it will be easier. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I'm cutting here out. This place is going to be straight like that. So I'm going to cut out the sides and the shoulder. I am just going to indicate where the neckline is. So now that I've cut out the sides, I'm going to take out the pins. And I want to reverse this pattern so I can cut out the neckline. I'm going to mark, indicate this place. And I'm going to create the neckline again. So now that I've indicated here, I'll take out this one. And I will carve out the neckline from here as well. I'm going to be cutting it out. Now I'm going to be transferring the dart. I'm going to be taking my pin. I'm taking a pin that does not have any end so that I can pull it out easily. So I'm pinning the beginning of the dart, pinning the sides, the end of the dart. Of course, you can take these measurements again. Okay, I've indicated where the dart is. I'm just going to take out this using my marker. I'm doing this on the wrong side of the fabric, please note that. Okay, I'm going to transfer the dart line. So this is my dart lines. I've transferred it, as you can see. Now I'm going to place this pattern on this direction and transfer the dart on this direction as well. So I have my darts. And for the other side, now I'm going to keep this like so on this side, and this is indicating our joining here. Okay, now because this is a free dress, it's going to be free on this other side. The sleeve on this side is going to be free on this other side. I am not going to be, there's no sleeve or anything, so I'm going to start sewing from here, not exactly from the underbust where the other one starts. I'm going to come down to like 1 inch. I'm just indicating where I will join it before I take out the seam allowance. So we transfer this marking here. Now for this other side, I'm going to be taking out the 1.5 inch seam allowance that is on this place. I hope this makes sense to you guys. I hope you're understanding. Because it's a pattern fabric, the chalk might be mixing up, but I hope you can see it somehow. Okay, so this is what I have, and so this is where I'm going to be sewing. I'm not going to be sewing on the seam allowance because that will make it too free. We're going to be sewing on the one inside, that is our actual measurement. So before we start sewing, I'm going to be hemming the down. We're going to hem the down with 1 inch before we start sewing, and take out the darts. You can either use the same fabric and cut out a bias for the neckline, or you can just use a black bias to sew the neckline and the armhole. So this is for the front piece. Let's work on, we're going to repeat the same thing on the back piece. From this middle part where we're taking out the darts, I am going to come up here so that the back will not have any gaping. Okay, so I'm going to go from this middle line. I'm going to go up here by 0.75 inch here, 0.75 inch. That is making it 1.5 inches. And then I'll use my straight ruler and I'll connect it to the end here. I'm going to be using this to cut this open, and I'm going to be eliminating here. I'm going to be eliminating this, transfer this to meet here. So we're taking out the whole of this. So instead of I'll take this marking, from this marking I'll transfer it all the way to here to meet this, the other 1.5 inch, so that we have taken out exactly 1.5 inch from the pattern. I hope this makes sense to you guys. Okay, this is so that the back will not have any gaping around the zip area. So I'm going to show us how we'll transfer this to the pattern, because the back piece is going to be coming in 2 different pieces. So I've placed the back piece. As you can see, I want to explain to us what we have done here now. As you can see, first of all, I've marked out the 1 inch for the zip allowance that was not originally on the pattern. Very important. So I've marked it all the way down. Now when you get close to this place, you see what I have done here. Instead of continuing with the 1 inch zip allowance, because of this gaping here, this space from the side that is caused by the alteration on the middle here, this pattern has gone 1 inch inside. Now that 1 inch it has gone inside, that's what I've taken out from here. So instead of adding 1 inch for the zipper here, I remove the 1 inch and I am marking with what I have here. So you just take your measurement and work it. So from this waist, from the hip line, I slant the zip allowance towards the main pattern. Hope you can see this, and then whatever I get here, measure from here I got 14. I just moved the 14 all the way to the down part. I hope this explanation makes sense. And when we did the one for the front piece, this was marked on this side. The sleeveless part of the dress, I cut it on this side. Now that we are working on the back piece, I'm cutting it on this side so that they will match when you merge the front and the back together, so that it will be on the same side. Also remember that don't make a mistake, because once you make a mistake, you cannot revert it unless you are going to be sewing the wrong side of the fabric on one part of the dress, which will not be nice. So I'm going to be cutting at this place because of the zip that's going to be in the middle. Of course, we're going to be creating a space for it. So I'm going to be cutting this out. Also, I'm going to be transferring the darts here. Okay, I'm going to be transferring the dart lines here, and I will use this same pattern to cut out the neckline for the other side. I am placing this back so I can show us what I'm going to be doing here. Just the same way we took out this curved part here, I'm going to be taking it out on this other part. So, and then I'll take out the neckline as well. Okay. So look at what we've taken out here. So this now is ready. So I'm just going to go ahead and transfer the darts, take out the darts, and then measure the length of my zipper. I'm going to measure the length of my zipper, where my zipper is going to stop. If my zipper is going to stop around the hip line, and then from that place I'm going to sew the rest with 1 inch, take out the darts, and then I will show us what next to do. So this is where it is. So I've taken out the darts. As you can see, this is the front piece. I've taken out the darts and I have piped the neckline. So I just cut out pieces of the fabric, the ones I took out from these places, and I used it to create a bias, and I piped the neckline and the one-sided armhole. Okay, the one-side armhole. And also I've gone ahead to hem the end of the dress. As you can see, I've hemmed it. And then this is the back piece. I've done the same thing for the back piece, and I have joined the back piece. I have also hemmed the down part. So I was going to leave a slit at the back, but no, I'm going to cover it up. That's why I have this opening, but I'm going to go ahead and cover up the slit. I'll be leaving the slit on the side of the part that is going to have the butterfly effect. That is where I'm thinking I should leave the slit. So when I'm joining both the front and the back piece together, that's when I will leave the slit. And of course, I took out the darts as well for this piece, and this is the opening for the zipper. I'm going to go ahead and fix the zipper here before I join both sides. I've sewn the zipper, as you can see, so I'm going to go ahead and join it now. I'm going to go ahead and sew the shoulders. I will sew this place from here to there all the way, and then I will join this part, and of course sew this side with 1.5 inch sewing allowance that we added when we were cutting it, and I will sew this all the way down. Okay, and then we're going to sew this other side when it's unturned, when it's on the right side. So I'm going to head to sew the shoulder and join this side as well, and I've sewn here the side. So now to sew this other side, we're going to turn it to the right side. So this is the right side, and this is the part we sewed with inseam, and you can see how neatly finished the armhole is. I'm going to be ironing all of this when I'm done. Okay, so I've placed my pattern here. Like I said, I'm not going to start sewing the armhole from here. I'm going to start sewing from here, somewhere around here. So I'm going to start from here, and I will sew it from before the 1.5 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I'm going to start marking the seam line from here. I'm going to use my chalk, a faint chalk, because this is the right side, and I'll mark it, and I will stop somewhere around here because I want it to have a slit, an opening. So somewhere around here is where it's going to stop. So if you can see this faint line very clearly, this is the line I've drawn that I'm going to use to follow. I'm going to go ahead and sew just a straight line here. So first of all, of course, you have to use a pin to hold it so that it doesn't move. So you can just sew all the way here, and then I'm going to go ahead and hem this opening, the butterfly opening, and this dress will be ready, and I will style it and show us how it looks. If at this point you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Also turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I drop a new tutorial. Thank you guys for staying to the end of the video. See you in my next sewing tutorial or my beading tutorial. Bye.